Hello, students. Welcome to the lesson on patterning. We'll go through a couple examples of how we can do a circular pattern and use that to create parts that we'll be working on. You can use this technique for the creation of the ratchet wheel and for the axle cap. So the first thing I want to show you is doing teeth on a wheel. I'm going to start a new sketch. And basically what we'll be doing is creating the sketch. And that's about as far as we will take it. So I'll create a circle and apply dimensions to this circle. These dimensions that I'm going to use may or may not reflect the dimensions of the parts that you'll be working on. So just bear that in mind. It's more to show you the tools and how they work than to actually precisely recreate the part. What I've done is I've created and constrained two circles, and these are going to be basically reference geometry for me in my sketch. So to indicate that, I am going to highlight them and I will make them construction lines. Now I'll start drawing the teeth for the circle. So the first line I drew was from the inner circle to the outer circle. Second line I drew ran from the center of the circle to the perimeter of the outer circle. And these will be the beginnings of my tooth. So what I need to do now is dimension this line, and I need to put an angular dimension for my second line. So whatever your drawing says, you'll want to put in an angle dimension to match that. This is the tooth itself. Now obviously I've got the tooth I want to array around my circle, but I don't need this full length line. I only need the portion that resides between the two circles, so I'll trim it. And you see once I've done that, I've lost the constraints on those two lines. I can fix that by dimensioning this line. When you try to pull a dimension, you'll see it wants to go horizontally or vertically to get an aligned dimension, which is basically a dimension that would match the orientation of this line. You'll want to right click your mouse, and on the menu you will want to choose aligned. Now you can see it's an aligned dimension. This will be a driven dimension. Exactly what comes up in the dimension window is what we want to use. So I'm just pressing enter. Now I have the components that I want to array around my circle. So what I'll do is select these two lines. I'm going to zoom in here a bit to do this. I'll select those two. And I will go here to the pattern toolbar and select circular. So I have the geometry is already selected. But you can see here that this arrow is red. It's looking for an axis to rotate the geometry around. So if I click here on the red arrow, now it's highlighted blue, meaning it's looking for information. I can simply select one of my circles and ask it to recreate the geometry around the circle. So it's actually going around this center axis. This button just changes the direction. It's not relevant in this example, but it could be in different types of patterns if you weren't doing a full circular pattern, for instance. In our case, we're going the full 360 degrees, and we want tooth on top of tooth on top of tooth. So we want consistent teeth all the way around here. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick calculation. We'll take 360 degrees, which is all the degrees of the circle, and we'll divide it by our 20-degree value, which should give us 18. So we'll be looking for 18 instances of teeth to fully go around the perimeter of this circle. So I put 18, I'll click OK, and now you have it. There's the sketch. It's fully constrained and it's ready to extrude. So that's one example. Now I'll move on to another example. And in this example, we've already got a round disc that's extruded, and we were going to put some evenly spaced holes on this disc. So I'm going to do that by creating a sketch. And I know that I want equally spaced holes, and I want them along a certain diameter, which is actually a smaller diameter than this disc itself. So what I'll do is I will create a circle, and I will dimension the circle. You'll want to use the dimension that is called for in the drawing that you're trying to reproduce. And now it'll be a matter of creating one circle and assigning a diameter value to it. In this case, we'll just make it 8. And I will draw a reference line to help constrain that. I'm going to make this construction line so I know it's just for reference. I'll also make this circle a construction line so that I know. I'll try that again. Construction. Okay, there we go. And this one again, construction. One more time. Okay, so I have my sketch. I have one instance of a circle, but I want 6 of these to go around this diameter circle. What I'll do, again, I'll use the pattern toolbar. I'll select circular. I've got the geometry that I want to use. I just need to input the axis. In this case, I'll choose this. The number of instances, 6, and I want them to go all the way around the circle. If I only wanted to go halfway around, I could change it. You can see they'd run 180 degrees. If I wanted them on the top half of the circle, I could change the direction and make them run along the top half of the circle. We'll change this back to 360 and we'll click OK. Now you can finish this sketch. You can extrude these circles and you'll have the whole pattern that you're looking for. So I'll use the extrude command. It's asking me to select profiles. You have to be somewhat careful here because it's looking for a face and you want to make sure you are picking the right face, which is the face of your circle, the little circle. And you want to cut through the object. And I always like to, when I'm picking the depth, you can go through all. It works perfectly fine. I like to go 2 if I know that I'm going to a certain face in an object. In this case, I'll click that icon and I'll orbit around. Now it's asking me to select the face that we'll extrude to. So we'll extrude to this face. I'm happy with that. We'll click OK and go back to the home view. There you have it. So you've equally spaced 6 circles around your disk. I hope you found this helpful, and please refer back to this video when you need to. Thanks for watching.